right, Fashion Dolls, it is Motivation Monday, July 7th, and welcome back to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. I hope you guys had an amazing Juneteenth weekend, celebrated with your family, and ate some good food. Our very special guest today is a producer and actor. Please welcome to the dollhouse, Brian Jalbert. Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing? Happy Monday.
I'm good. Happy Monday to you. I'm just chilling. I'm here in sunny Florida, so I'm just enjoying the weather.
Yes, yes, it is hot. How has 2025 been for you so far?
It's actually been really good. I've been doing a lot of stunt gigs, and then I just booked a couple acting things, so I'm pretty stoked. How about you?
Fabulous. I can't complain. It's all aligning together. It's the
I
same
love.
here.
Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
yes. You are so welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you here in the dollhouse with me. Now, we both have something in common. We both share a birthday month. Your birthday is on the 2nd. You're a Libra. My mom's October 7th. Yours is October 2nd.
I
And
love
mine's
it.
is on 31st Halloween. I'm a Scorpio. So we
All right.
share a birthday month.
I
But
love it. All right.
let's get into the beginning of your story. Tell
Happy
us, give
almost
us a
birthday.
Yes, yes, I can't
All
wait
right.
for it. I can't wait. My 30-second welcome, welcome as you're coming in. Shout outs to Alvin, Tit for Tat, my colleague. Make sure you guys please go and check out that panel. We had an awfully good time. It was pretty good. Hi, Pure Lux. Welcome, 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 welcome as you're coming in. Now, let's start in the beginning of your journey. Tell
Okay.
us about your career doing stunts. You're not only just a stuntman, but you're also an actor and a producer as well too. So tell us about that in the beginning. How did you get your start?
To be honest with you, so it's weird. I'm still kind of doing what I did as a kid, you know. So, um, when I would say it started as a kid, we would take I would take like a little camcorder. My dad had this camcorder, and we would just go shoot stuff. It didn't matter what it was. We would shoot ourselves jumping over ramps and fight scenes I'd put together with my brother. We would make little short films back then. We didn't know what we were doing. We were just shooting stuff, putting in the camera, kind of editing as we went. We'd build forts, and we would just film a lot of these things as we were coming up. And I didn't really know what I was doing. Uh, I had a gravitational, I would say, pull towards being on camera or doing things that revolved around entertainment and in that light. So it started that way, and then when I was, and let me take that back. My father had a camcorder before that, and he would video us documentary style. So it'd be like almost what people are doing nowadays and putting it on YouTube. Like my
Yep.
dad kind of did that, and it was kind of, it was, and you're talking about, it was like the '80s, so they were drinking and partying and like filming all this stuff. It was kind of bizarre when you go look at it, because I have some videos of that still. And we were just kids, and maybe that stuck in my head. Maybe that was something that kind of stuck with me. And then as I got older, I was probably in my teens, and I started to gravitate towards plays, doing some plays and acting. And my journey takes a weird turn, and I'll kind of get into it. But um, I started doing some plays, and I started taking theater acting classes with Corinne Brosquette in St. Petersburg, Florida. And I did a few plays, and I was getting into that, and I would drive down to Miami and do auditions, and I was trying to figure that out. And I would be honest, like looking back now, I didn't really have the confidence then. Like I didn't fully believe in myself like I do now, where it's like, yeah, whatever, I'll just do what I want to do, and just like, enjoy it. So back then it was like dabbling in it. And then it took a weird turn, because I met a friend, and he had a beatbox, right? So he got a beatbox, and he started rapping, and he playing his beat, and I was like, what is that? Like, I knew rap, like I knew rap growing up, hip hop, things like that. But I was like, bro, I didn't know you could do this, because he would tape himself. Like, he would have a tape, he would record it, and then it was like, oh, this is cool. Like, what's this? Like making beats and rapping. So I wouldn't say I take a break. I was still acting a little bit then, but then I got into music, and that, if you ever been in music, I don't know, have you ever been in music?
I've never been in music, but my colleagues have. I have colleagues that I've interviewed who work in music, but I've never
Okay.
done it. But it's a shocker to me. But go on.
So it's an interesting industry. And so my brother at the time, so my buddy started rapping as well. So me and my buddy formed a group. We were called the High Rollers. Don't know. I don't know. It's just what we came up with. And we started writing music, and just forming like lyrics together, writing beats and forming lyrics, and I was like, oh, this could be a way to create. So our first we did a hip hop show at Maxi Mall, and we were down there, and they had a stage set up, and me and my buddies that were down there, and they were like, hey, we seen him performing, and I was like, hey guys, you guys want to perform? And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, let's just go perform our music, because we had the cassette in the car, because we always kind of kept it with us because we were learning and doing that. And then so we started performing like that, and it led to, like, opening up for Bone Thugs and Harmony, LL Cool J. I opened up for who else? A few other artists, but we did that for like 10 years, right? Yeah, and we were in the hip hop scene, and we met a lot of people, people from, like, this dude from 98 Degrees, and we ended up getting flown out to Baltimore. We got signed for a deal. They signed us to a $1 million deal, right? We're like, oh, we made it. They flew us out to Baltimore. They picked us up in a limo. We were like, we thought we were the ish. And we go and we perform. And then when we got back, all the checks bounced. So, and for us at the time, like, we each had $20,000 checks that we cashed, and we thought, like, oh, we made it. And then we're like, oh crap, we didn't make it. And then one of our buddies quit his job. And me, I always worked construction, so I was always kind of working for myself and my father and things like that. So I kind of had that flexibility to kind of do what I want for the most part. I've always tried to keep a flexibility in my life to um, do what I want rather than what I'm kind of forced to do. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
think that's important. That's been important for me. But all the checks bounced. Deal fell through. I think somebody went to jail, and it wasn't me. And that led me back into the film realm, because, and I'm trying to skip a lot of this because there was a lot in between, of building the music thing, and, like, figuring that out, and, like, writing lyrics and, like, beats, and, like
Yeah.
doing um to where when we got into the film stuff again, my brother Jake. So my brother Jake is a really talented cinematographer. Okay, if you look up Jake Jalbert, um, super talented cinematographer. And like I said, when we were younger, we would create stuff, and Jake normally would shoot. I would like. I guess I'm a narcissist. I just love the camera, so I would want to be in front of the camera. You know what I mean? And build fights and things like that. Um, and when we got back into the film stuff, it was kind of because of my brother. So my brother had a friend. His name's Randy Johnson. He was working as a DJ, and he was working at Bubba Gump's restaurant. So Bubba Gump's Shrimp Co. is a restaurant. You ever been to Bubba Gump's Shrimp Co. by any chance?
Yes. And you're in the
Okay.
Boston. You're from the Boston, Mass area, so I've heard about it. I'm in South Carolina, so I've heard about it.
Oh, oh, you're from Carolina? Okay. That's dope. So yeah, and I was born in Boston, but I lived in Florida most of my life. Um, And when they had a spot in St. Petersburg at John's Pass is where they met, and they started talking about, because Randy was DJing, and my brother was like, "Oh, I might want to shoot video, you know." And so we formed an entertainment company where I was the DJ, my brother was a videographer, and our buddy that was in the rap group was the photographer for weddings. So there was four of us, Iris Weddings, and that led us to getting back into film. And what it led to was shooting very small pieces and trailers for projects, and just learning. Like, it was really building a foundation for us as artists, not knowing what we were doing. Like, even though we came from music, and that's
Yeah.
definitely like a learning curve, you know. Once we got back into the entertainment thing, it was like a whole different ball game, because you'd have to find budgets, or maybe we're just shooting stuff on our cell phones, or my brother bought a camera. He bought the first camera he bought was a Canon XL1. If I think I'm saying that right. So he bought a Canon XL1, and it was all the money he saved up. It was like $1,000, I think he saved working at Bubba Gump's, and he was asking me, do you think I should buy it? And I said, bro, are you going to use it? And he's like, yeah, yeah. I said, all right, then, like, fuck it, buy it. You know what I mean? Like do it. And so he bought the camera, and I bought DJ equipment, and then we started doing weddings, and that led back into the entertainment. So then it was shooting a lot of content. We would shoot trailer stuff. We would shoot scenes. We would shoot skits. We started dabbling the horror aspect. It wasn't my passion. Like, I'm not passionate about horror movies. Like, if I had to equate what I like the most, it'd be horror thrillers or something like that. But if I like horror, it's because of like Halloween. Halloween. You ever seen the first Halloween?
Oh yeah, that's a classic with Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes.
Right? You agree with me? That's a good movie, right? So I really loved that one growing up as horror. And the reason we fell into it was because, so in 2012, and this is about the time we shot our first feature film. 2012, um, we shot a short film for the Action Film Challenge, um, and it we won. I won Best Actor, and the guy that was with us won Best Villain, Randall Speakman, and that led to us shooting our first feature film in 2013 called House Guest Massacre, starring Alex Vincent. So if you know Alex Vincent, he was in the Child Play Chucky's franchise.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was in that, and uh, that was interesting because I did not knowing he actually lived in the same area as us. Uh, and we put out an ad on Craigslist looking for a writer, and he responded back, and my brother was like, yo B, because that's what they call me, B. He was like, yo B. He was like, this kid Alex Vincent hit me up about writing our script, and he's like, he was in the Chucky movies, and I'm like, what? That's so random. You want to say something about that?
Yes, I was gonna say it's like a full 360 moment. You grew up watching him
Yeah.
and the Chucky movies, and then he messages you back to work with you on your project. That's crazy. So it's like everything aligns together.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of random because I'll be honest with you, that was one of the ones that I was drawn to as a kid. The Chucky, like the Child's Play stuff. Little
Yes.
Andy Barkley, and it's weird because he played the lead in it. So we're putting together this movie. This is our first feature film, right? Because we shot a bunch of shorts, and we shot short films and skits and this, that, and the third, and then so this is how we got our first money, and hopefully this will help out other people out there that we got our first money for our first feature film is because we won awards for our short films, and one of the guys that starred into it actually invested. He says, because I was looking for money for the movie, and I'm like, I can't find the money. Like, I'm having a tough time. And he goes, I'd put up 3 grand to make your movie. And I was like, 3 grand? I was like, heck yeah, bro, let's go. What? um, so that led to us making our first feature film. Once we had the budget in place for that, it was like go. Like, we got the script. It was originally more of a hostage type movie, and the writer kind of turned it into a more horror movie. And I kind of went to it. Nowadays, I would probably stick to my guns more. So this is for anybody that's when you're new, speak what you feel, because I think that's important. Sometimes when you're green or you're young, you won't fully say what you feel for whatever reason. Maybe you're intimidated, or you're a little nervous, or you feel like you're going to offend somebody. I think it's important to speak how you feel. And I didn't quite at the time, but we put the project together and we made our first movie. And we made House Guest Massacre, and it was fun. And it was just us, like, we had a Canon 5D is what we shot on, and we had a sound person. We connected into the camera, so we didn't have the audio separate for that. And we just went and made a movie, and it was fun, and it was just a bunch of us youngsters creating, and yeah, having a good time together, and that kind of snowballed us into other things, you know.
Absolutely. What advice would you give to up and coming filmmakers as it pertains to getting a start? Because you've went from music to now
Hmm.
acting to now television and film. And it's like you have to start off somewhere in this business, get your start somewhere.
Hmm.
And it's like learning the tricks of the trade, shall I say, about anything that all comes to fruition. So, what
Hmm.
advice would you give to up and coming filmmakers out here as it pertains to getting a jump start?
I would say the biggest thing is actually just starting, because I think, like you said, it all kind of like circles around, the planets align. I feel
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of like you were saying, if you put that energy out there of, all right, I'm creating something, right? And I'm going to put this together, and you're putting good energy out there, I feel like you'll start attracting people, or the pieces will kind of come in together randomly. You're like, how did that happen? You know? So I would say just start, create the script, um, and try not to lose momentum. Sometimes there may be a lag at certain times, but I feel like if you can keep a momentum going and you can continue to put little pieces together. Okay, so maybe it's the script, and then maybe it's an actor, maybe it's a location, maybe you shoot just in one location. I would try not to let budget hold you back. Now, granted, this is what happens though. As you grow, you have to expand. My biggest thing is, I've always said this: if I created a movie for 3 grand, well, I want to do my next one on 10, or I want to do my next one on 20, or I want to create something different the next time I do that will elevate what I just did. So I think it's having that in mind, trying to always elevate what you're doing to that next level, whatever that be. It could be an actor, it could be the money, it could be the story. Maybe you just got a really great story that you're trying to tell to inspire people, or that you can kind of use. So it's to me, it's starting. It's always starting. Even
Absolutely. You
can I?
go ahead.
Can,
I'm sorry.
no, 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 you're totally good. And if cut me off at any time if I'm just rambling. Sometimes I'll ramble. Um, uh, but like it happened like that with stunts, and I've had a lot more success with stunts in the last year than I ever did, um in the producing and acting realm, which is weird, and I don't know why that is. But it's definitely, it was just starting. Like, I went and started training somewhere. I followed my instinct of going there, going to the stunt training place and just training and staying consistent. And then the coordinator's like, "Hey, Brian, I got a gig. You want to do the Fall Guy promo for daytime TV?" Yeah, bro, I'm in. It doesn't pay. I don't. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I show up, and Bop, bop, Brian, you're gonna get punched. You're gonna now all my training comes into play. Bop, taking punches, falling, flipping, they're throwing me all around, doing all that stuff. And then it's like maybe 2 months later, hey Brian, you want to go do this? You want to go do this? This this movie? Oh, yeah, dude, what's up? Oh, it actually pays this time. Oh, really? How much? How much am I supposed to get paid on this? And and if you can find the right people, they'll watch your back a little bit. I found in the industry that if you find certain people, they'll have your back and they'll, hey,
Oh
how
yeah.
much am I supposed to get paid for this? And they'll have your back. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And they'll look out for you. That's learning
Yeah.
the tricks and of the trade. Now, going back to you being a stuntman, you
Mm,
have a martial arts background, and I've sat with so many mixed martial artists and stuntmen.
mm.
One of them is Spitfire Brown. You know him as Rain in Mortal Kombat. And when we did that interview, when we got through doing that interview, Brian, I kid you not, these were his exact words verbatim. Hear me out, audience. Listen to me. You're listening to this. This is what he said. He said, "Oh, I said, has there been any injuries?" That was going to be my question for you. Has there been any injuries while doing stunts on set? So this is his words verbatim.
Mm.
Oh, injuries, sminjuries. I'm going to get set on fire the next day. Say what now?
I love it.
Fire. You're getting set on fire. Like literally. That was going to be my next question for you. Has there been any injuries while on set?
There's always something. To be honest with you, I actually just hurt myself yesterday. I did a stunt gig where I took a pretty hard fall on my back. Now I'm able to walk and things like that, but like I hit pretty hard. And I've been doing like Epsom salt baths and like I'm trying to rest up because I'm like, oh man, I'm a little hurt. But yeah, it happens. Yeah, and then you get set on fire the next day. Yeah.
I can't. What is the drive? Oh my goodness. And
You got
shout
to
out
be a
to
little.
Marcus.
I think you got to be a little crazy to be a stunt guy. We're all a little crazy. Brian, do you
And
do it?
Marcus asked you a question. Brian, do you do non-union projects?
It depends. It don't tell SAG, but it depends on the person and things like that. So reach out to me. We'll see. We'll see what's up. If it's a good project, yeah.
Yes,
Also,
set on
right?
fire. Y'all heard me, set on fire. Like when we did that interview, he was just like, "Oh, I'm just going to get set on for a film." Now,
Yeah.
don't try this at home. A lot of people go and try these stunts at home. What has been the crazy encounter with fans who've watched your projects of them trying some of your stunts at home? Have they mentioned them to you?
Not yet. I'm still early in the stunt career, so not really. Hopefully, that I know of. But definitely, like, be careful. Like, there's a lot of precautions and safety things that go into
Yes.
working on these projects. So I work a lot with a coordinator called Kevin Rigo, K2 Stunts, K75 Stunt Academy is where I train in Clearwater. And there's always precautions. Like, you double check everything. If you're doing a fire burn, you are gelled up, suited up. And I haven't done a fire burn yet. I was supposed to I was supposed to do a dude wipes thing and get my butt set on fire. but yeah, I haven't done that yet. They're supposed to set my ass on fire. Hasn't happened. So we'll kind of see where that goes in the future. But there's so many precautions when you're doing a stunt or you're doing a fall, because if you're not trained in certain falls or certain ways to do it, you can really hurt yourself. So anybody at home, don't try that shit unless you're working with some professionals. I ask you not to.
And when you're doing stunts that involve fire, I think it was Joe Quinn Phoenix. When he did the Charlie's Angels Full Throttle film. If you go back and you watching that, there's a scene in the film where he literally has to walk through fire, and he was talking about it on Drew Barrymore's show, and he
Mhm.
said that they put some kind of like gel all over him so that when
Yeah.
he walked through the fire wouldn't actually burn his skin. Now this is just for that scene, so there's special techniques and props that producers and filmmakers, directors will use to keep the person, the stunt, whomever, safe. So that's just
Mhm.
a little hack right there. But do not try
Yeah.
this at home.
No.
And I
Those.
remember sitting with Anthony Velvet Hall from WWE's Tough Enough,
Mhm.
and he was saying that people have tried some of the stunts and winded up actually injuring themselves. Now, a lot of people watch mixed martial arts or watch wrestling, and it's like, hey, I can do this, and you're flipping off of things and dunking off of things, but it's just like you can injure something. You don't want to injure something. So speak with a professional before you try any of these things. This is not for the weak minded. Make sure that this is something that you really, really want to do. But what advice would you give to people who want to get into doing mixed martial arts or any particular sport that involves excessive force?
And this is what's funny about stunts. There's so many different aspects, right? So, like, you have your guys that drive, you've got your people that do
Yes.
fire, you got your guys that fight. Like, I'm more of probably I do more fights, falls. I'm more of a utility. I can kind of step in certain things. Utility would be I could do a fire burn if I had to. I could do a fight. I could do these things. I'm not like a master where somebody's like a parkour master where they could like jump off the building and like do a flip
Yes.
and like some of these guys are just like I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't I don't know what you just did. Look good. I can't do that. But try to encompass that. So if I would say find where you're naturally geared towards, okay? If you're geared towards parkour, go towards parkour. You start training parkour and then you add to that tool belt. It's like an actor. If I'm adding to my tool belt as an actor, if I'm doing improv, if I'm doing scene study, things like that, it's just adding to your belt. So if you're going to do parkour, maybe you add fights. You spend time on building fights. It's going to be taking hits. It's going to be throwing. So you got to really practice on and this is where it's different too. You know, your stunt fighting is way different than real fighting. If I'm real fighting, I want to be everything quick and like close because I don't want them to see their. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want like if I'm defending my family or defending people or whatever the situation may be, I want to take them out quick and drop eliminate the problem um, to where nobody gets hurt and kind of stop that. Whereas if you're doing a stunt fight, everything's big. Like I'm throwing a big haymaker, I'm doing a gut shot, and everything's big. It's like doing stage acting. So it's going to be learning the basics. Start learning the basics. Start finding out where you're naturally geared towards, and then just start going to that. Whether it's a stunt school, find people. There's people in every area that do this. So it doesn't matter if you're like there's a team in Kansas that does this. There's teams all over. Like you said, you're North Carolina or South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah.
Okay, so there's probably if you went to your film commission, right, and you were like, "Hey, I want to get into stunts. Who do I talk to?" There's somebody that they have on that list that's a stunt person, and you just reach out to them. Hey, would love to train with you guys. A lot of these guys might train in their backyards a little bit. I've done that a little bit too, and that's cool too because they're still safe about it. They're not wire rigging everybody. Like we have things where we like rigged up wires, and then they'll
Oh yeah.
flip up do certain things like that, or fire burns. They're not. Most people aren't doing fire burns in their backyard, and if they are, they're trained in, and they have certs, which are basically they're certified, whether it's in CPR, first aid, things like that. So,
And
what's
that's a
your?
good question, King David. He wants to know what's a preparation before doing a stunt.
I think it's getting mentally prepared, and not overthinking the stunt. A lot of stunt people sometimes will overthink a stunt. Like you show them how to do a fall, or we're gonna get ready to do a fall, and they're just like, how should I fall? Should I fall? Like, what if I, and it's they're going through this whole process in their head of like how to do it right. and you're kind of just falling, and you're trying not to hurt yourself. And there's ways to eliminate that, of course. We got our gator back. I don't have one in front of me, but we have our protective gear. If I'm the stunt gig I did yesterday, I did a stunt gig we did for a church. We were going in and doing a fight scene and everything, and I took a pretty hard fall. The guy hit me with a Superman punch, and then I had to take it and then spin and fall, and I hurt, right here. But I still had my gator back on. My gator back is basically a spine protector that you would suit up for, like the motorcycle guys wear it. Elbow pads that you wear under your clothes, knee pads, just your basic protecting stuff, and then not overthinking the stunt. Going over the stunt, you want to practice the stunt. You want to be prepared for the stunt, but you don't want to overthink it so much that you'll mess it up. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Absolutely, it's got to be perfectly executed. And then when you see the final project, when we're seeing the film, us, the consumers, we won't know if you messed up or not because of so many takes you've had to do. But it will all come together once you see that final project. Now, we have seen behind the scenes of how, as you were saying about, being tied to the wire and everything and them having to flip you. I mean, there's so many things that martial artists and stuntmen do in films that you would see behind the scenes. And as you said, doing it in your backyard, you know who that made me think of? China McCoy. China McCoy, who did The Matrix.
Okay.
And he worked alongside Lawrence Fishburne in The Matrix. So if you go and you follow him, you see him working with people, doing stunts, doing mixed martial arts. And it's a lot, again, a lot of excessive force of having to use your body. But
Mm,
you can injure it if you don't be careful. So that's why it's important that you take classes and courses.
mhm.
And we have classes and courses down here. It just depends on what part of the city that you're in. I know North Carolina, but not in my part of South Carolina, but I know in other parts that they have courses where you can learn mixed martial arts, how to
Yeah.
become a stuntman, all of these things that can help ground you and prepare you before shooting a film or project. Again, do not try this at home, fashion dolls. Do not.
Like just to give you a little bit. So I was doing this stunt, um, for it was like a Mission Impossible like CEO event, and they were filming it, and they had to film it to get it to the event, things like that. I did this stunt because we had this barrel set up, and they were probably like, I want to say like maybe like 12 foot high, 10 or 12 foot high, and I had to get attached to the wires, jump over it, and then land perfect, like in a position. I shit you not, it took me like, I think it took me the eighth one because I kept kicking the barrels. Because you sometimes when you're up there, you're scared. You're like you're in fight or flight a little bit. So I'm kind of a fighter type of person. So I kept kicking the barrels, and my stunt coordinator was like, "Brian, stop kicking the fucking barrels out. You cleared it." And I'm like, "Shit, I don't know why I'm doing that." He goes, "Because you're scared." I'm like, "Yeah, you're probably right." So it's the practice that'll get you to that point. But I did that stunt
Oh yeah,
12 or 13 times just to get one good take to where I kept because I was going over it, but I would flail a little bit with my feet to try to catch myself as I landed. And that's cool if I'm doing an explosion. But in this specific stunt, I needed to land, or just pull it off like a ninja. So pull my knees up, keep that center of gravity, and then drop and land, and then kind of land cool. And I wasn't doing that. So sometimes it takes a little bit, and it's the practice that you put in.
absolutely. And you said 12 feet. I would be nervous too if I was that high, elevated above the ground. And typically, when you see them on the wire, there's typically some sort of like padding that when you
Mm-hmm.
land, like if you're going out of the window, there's a scene where you have to jump out of the window and break the window or whatever, and then you land someplace. So just another thing that I've paid attention to as it pertains to behind the scenes and filming and shooting. And speaking of filming and shooting, you've done some projects here. You've done several productions from
Hmm.
Mind Games to Apple of My Eye,
Yep.
alongside Burt Reynolds and Amy Smart. So
Yeah.
tell us, what was it like working alongside the amazing Burt Reynolds?
I do have a funny story. So for hopefully it doesn't offend anybody. But so I was on set and I was an AD. And if anybody knows what an AD is, an AD is basically it coordinates the crew. Okay. And that basically that
Oh,
frees up the director to kind of work and create, whereas the AD will keep everybody on track. Is more in a thinking
yeah.
brain where you're create. Whereas if you're a director, you're more in the creative space. When you're the AD, you're more in the thinking brain. So I'm AD in the project, and I call Mr. Burt Reynolds over, and he's an older dude at this time. So I'm like, I go up to his manager because he had his agent, his agent around him. Usually, he had his manager with him when he was on set for this, and um, I go, hey, we need Bert. And he's like, all right, we'll get him ready and he'll come on out. So they bring Bert out, and Bert's sitting there waiting, and he's chilling. And then we're shooting the scene, and then they tell me, oh, we don't need Bert right now. And I'm like, oh fuck, I just literally went and got him, and he's an older dude. It takes him a while to get back. I'm like, all right, shit. I'm like, all right, let me go break the news to him. I'm like, hey, Bert, we don't need you right now. He's like, you communist bastard. I was like, Bert just called me a communist bastard. I love it. So, like, that was a cool experience that I got to get from Bert.
My goodness, my goodness. He's something
That
else.
was fun.
And
That was funny.
But that opening the door to work with Burt Reynolds and
Uh,
Amy Smart, great
yeah.
project, Apple of My Eye, and then Mind Games as well
Uh,
too. What was it like working on that project?
Mind Games was interesting. So Mind Games was right around when COVID hit. Um, and we wanted to shoot something, so we kept it super minimal. And we started to put together because we had a script we wanted to do, and we had to kind of find the money. And this is weird how it works too. So I did a pitch fest back in 2012. No, wait, hold on. I worked as a PA in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on this movie called Heart of the Champions. And I would say anybody, if you're trying to get into business, go work on big stuff. Even if you're a PA, things like that,
Yes.
you much because I went up there as a PA. I went through a divorce and I kind of had to get away, and I was like, I need to just go work somewhere. So I went Baton Rouge, started working on this project, and I met this guy there. He knew the director, and I had showed him, hey, I'm doing a pitch fest when I get back. You should come out. He's like, yeah, I'll be there, I'll be there, I'll be there. And I thought he was full of shit. I thought, well, this guy's like, I'm fucking show up. So we do the pitch fest in 2012, Clearwater Beach. We have some executives out there meeting people. The guy shows up. I'm like, all right, this is cool. So he shows up, and long story short, he invested in Mind Games. We told him we had a project. Yeah, we told him we had a project we want to do, and this was probably 2 months after, because I did the pitch fest. I got lucky because we had everything booked. Everybody flew in, did it, and then everything got shut down. And we did the movie 2 months, 3 months later, 2 or 3 months later, I think, in the midst of COVID when it first hit. So we just barely made that. We went to Mind Games. I'm trying to piece everything together. Went and got the money for Mind Games because he was like, "Oh, I'll invest in it." So we had he was the first money in. Then we had another guy we brought in, Jaden Fitzpatrick, or Jaden Cal, talented actor, producer, writer, does a lot of stuff, and he knew somebody, so we got money from a person he knew, um, and then we got another money from somebody else. Oh yeah, these other two guys, the dentist and a doctor. We got some more money in, And then we were like, all right, let's go create something. And that's when we created Mind Games. And that was just literally like, we had an RV in the backyard. We shot all that. If you watch the movie, that's in a backyard of somebody's house. Jaden's parents' house. Let us shoot back there. So we had this RV backed in. All the exterior shots weren't far. It was at a place called, it used to be Wagon Wheel Flea Market, but it looks like a secluded field. We went and shot all that. And we just went and made a movie, kind of like our first movie we did. You know, it was just like kind of running gun. We had the camera. We had what did we shoot that on? I think we shot it on the Red. I think my brother had the Red, and then we used minimal lighting to kind of make it work. And we got to work with Robert Lizardo. That dude's a beast. I don't know if you know who the guy Robert Lizardo that's in it. Um, we shot him out. He had a lot of dialogue, and like we shot him out quick. Like he was like, bro, he's like, I want to be able to spend some time on the beach before I go. This is what he said. I said, all right, let's try to shoot you out, man. You know, because we're not far from the beach. You know, I said, well, we'll try to shoot you out. So we spent that day he was here just shooting all that RV stuff. He's the bald-headed Latino dude. He was in the Mule with he's been in everything, but he was in the Mule with Clint Eastwood and stuff like that.
Oh
So
yeah.
really, yeah, really talented actor. And so we shot him out. I think we had one scene to shoot in the morning because we were scheduled for 2 days with him. And then we shot a little bit in the morning, shot him out, and then we shot the stuff with Robert Perret, and then yeah, packaged it, put it together. My brother and Jaden did all the editing on that. And I think yeah, Jake directed. So my brother directed it, and yeah, just created it and put it together. You know, it was just cool to kind of like go make a movie like that. We love that process, you know. And it's weird. We didn't get paid. I get paid more for stunts than I do for producing. It's kind of crazy.
And it's about being able to find that balance. And what I love about you is you're able to find that balance as a multifaceted,
Well,
as
I'm
a
a
producer.
Libra like your mom, right? Is your mom a Libra? You said
Yes.
I'm a Libra
Yes,
like your mom.
October 7th.
Yeah. Okay.
And look at there, Diamond Home Hood Grown says, I'm following him now. Acting is my second love.
Thank you for that.
Let me see. We had a question from King David.
Uh-huh.
Let me see. Did I miss it? Yes. What's the most takes that you've ever had to do for a project?
Probably that stunt gig where I did like 12 or 13. That was a lot. Acting, I've done pretty quick stuff. Like I usually nail it pretty quick with the acting thing. Like Mind Games, I think we did three, maybe I think we did 3 or 4 takes. I mean, granted, on me, you know, because we shot the wide shot of the acting, so we shot the wide shot. There was a scene and I don't know how many takes we did. There was a scene in House Guest Massacre, the first movie I ever did, and this is why I say always be prepared. I thought I was prepared
Yes.
for the scene with this girl we were doing, but we could not nail this scene. It was just us having a conversation, like kind of flirty conversation about her mom and her parents, and just getting to know each other was the premise of that scene. I think I can't remember, but we shot, and I literally had to say, "All right, guys, we're gonna shoot tomorrow," because I don't know why. Which, granted, I was producing it and helping my brother grip and moving stuff, so I was doing a lot. But it's no excuse to not go into a scene knowing everything by heart. And I was like super green at the time, so I would say, yeah, go in there knowing if you're an actor, go in there knowing your shit, know your lines by heart, and it gives you freedom to kind of create. So it's either that scene that we did at House Guest or that stunt gig I did where I was just like kept going over the barrels and the barrels.
And that's what it is. You got to get the perfect take. It's going to take a couple takes for you to get the actual perfect shot. So
Right.
trust. I did a horror film, and you said back in 2020 you worked on Mind Games.
Yeah.
2020 was difficult for a lot of us. When I did my film, The Assistant, which was a
Okay.
horror film. We did it virtually, and we
Uh-huh.
had did the table read virtual as well too. This is my very
Marv.
first time, and I got the role on my birthday. I want to say my 20th birthday,
Uh-huh.
and I can remember the producer reaching out to me saying, "Okay, we want you for this." I said, "Me act? I'm not an actress, though. I'm a host. I host a platform." And he really wanted me to do it. So I said, let's go on ahead and do it. But he developed the character almost in my likeness. I played a
Uh,
college professor. For this role, though it is a catch. He said, we're
mhm.
going to age you a little bit because
Okay.
we don't want you to look young like one of the students. So the catch was he wanted me to have short hair.
Oh, okay.
And if you know me, you know how my hair is today. I love long hair.
Uh-huh.
But I said, this is my very first acting role. I got to go in and I got to execute this. Went to the table read, nailed it, boom, boom, boom. And the funny part is behind the scenes, because I'm pretty sure you've had a lot of funny behind the scenes moments as
Yeah.
well, too, where we were actually shooting the film and we had to call cut for a minute because everybody was reading over each other's parts. The next character was reading the next character's line. It was so funny. We all just burst out into laughter until we got it right. Me, I've already did my scene and I'm just sitting back laughing while the others getting their yes, I sure did. Alvin, I sure did. Short hair. It was a pixie. And he picked out the whole look. I had no say so. He said, nope,
Hmm.
we don't want you to have long hair. We want you to have short hair because we don't want you to look like one of the students. And I was like, cool, cool. That's understandable. If
Yeah.
you want me to have short hair, I'll have short hair for this movie. And it worked perfectly. And she's a little bit out of my element because I never really wanted to be a teacher. I always wanted to be a talk show host growing up. But I said, okay, let me tap into that. I have friends who are school teachers.
Hmm.
Shout outs to my girlfriend, Stephanie Davenport. She works with a lot of kids. So she was somewhat of the influence working
Hmm.
with kids. But these were not kids you were working with, these were college students, full grown adults that you were working with. So I'm just like, okay, I can use that as a reference. For
Hmm.
you, when you are doing your characters, is there anybody in mind that you have a reference for? And do you have a say so and input as character development? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of actors, when that
Hmm.
director gives you that creative strive and vision to say, okay, go. You're gonna develop the character in somewhat of your likeness, bring the character style, this, that, and the third, and the other. You're bringing the character to life. So for you, have you ever had somewhat creative input as what you want your character to look like, or uh, what was the question I was about to ask you? I'd have lost my thought,
Hey,
but I
so
was gonna ask you, like, as far as developing the character's likeness, do you have creative input and say so?
I'd like to. Yeah, I mean, I think because I feel like I feel like if you're put in a box, it
Mm,
keeps you in a box. Does that make sense? So if I'm creating a character, it gives me room to kind of like build off of that and kind of create off of that. Whereas if somebody told me, "Hey, this is what I need from you, just stay here," I haven't had that yet, so I don't know how I would respond. I feel like I would be able to take that direction, but then I would be not scared to, but I would feel like, okay, well, if I'm going outside this box, is that going to screw up what they're trying to do? So I love to be able to create off of my character, whether that's with wardrobe, um, tone, vibe, whatever. I'm smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke. I played a character. I was smoking a cigarette. I literally was on set chain smoking. I didn't mean to. But I just kept lighting up these fake cigarettes, like I was a smoker, and people were looking at me like I'm crazy. So yeah, I love to be able to create my character. Yeah, I think that's important. Even with stunts, even with stunts, people don't realize. So like, I built out this fight. I'm building out this fight for this short film. Me and a friend of mine, and we built out the whole scene, right? And I go to her, I'm like, "Yo," because we got the script now. We get the script and things like that, and I'm like, "We got to rebuild this whole fight because it's not to the character." So Yeah, I think it's important to be able to create off your character, you know? Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. And shout outs to my colleague Alvin Tit and Tat this for that. Make sure you guys please go and check out the panel. He says that I initially thought you were a therapist in the film. And the assistant, yes, that's more so what he was going for. He
Uh-huh.
wanted it to be not only a college professor, but in a way like a therapist. And so he developed the character almost in my likeness, how I'm hosting this platform now, as how he kind of wanted it to be, where she's a take charge type of woman where she has everything together. She's helping everybody else get their things together. And not just that, but she also wanted to make sure she got into the minds of each student because each
Mhm.
student's personality was different. So it was hard for me to challenge that because I've never done any acting. And this was my very, very first acting role
Is that your
ever.
goal? So you want to host, you don't want to do any type of acting or anything like that? What are your goals?
Oh, I I've always had a dream of being a professional hairstylist. A
Okay.
professional hairstylist. I went to beauty school. Working in the fashion and beauty industry has always been a dream of mine and hosting a talk show,
Hmm.
but never acting. But he made me kind of dip my toe into the water of acting and say, okay, I can get into this. And one of my guests, they asked me, um, would you be willing to get back into acting? Would you be willing to do this? And I said, yes, I would. Absolutely. Definitely. I would love to. So in the future, who knows? I have things on a list, on my bucket list that I would like to strike off and do. And I also do vision boards. Almost
Okay.
everything that I put on my vision board has come to fruition, but I know more acting is something that I would like to do. Because being in fashion, you get to portray a different character every day. Your style changes. You're always ahead of the current trend. But acting is a whole nother level. You have to be able to wear that character's cross to bring that character to life and embody it. You're putting on that character's shoes and you're
Mhm.
having to bring this character, breathe life into this character, be a vessel to this character. And a lot of actors can relate to that as it pertains to being someone else. But when you're off, when you're home, you're yourself. So it's like turn it on, turn it off. But that would be one of my long-term goals. Definitely more acting.
Oh. So you really like, like style and things like that. Like that's your like thing.
I love fashion. I'm a fashion girl. So who knows
Cool.
what I'm going to look like tomorrow? I'm always changing my look. I have over, I can't even count. I've lost count. If I went to my Pinterest closet, it's like over 1,100 different looks that I've done from each season. So they will tell you I don't stay the same. I'm always reinventing myself every single day you come in, I'm gonna have a different look. And it's like, okay, what hair color is she gonna have today? What is she gonna look like today? What's her eye shape? Because I have almond shaped eyes. So
Yeah,
they always pay attention to those little details.
that's cool.
And I love to evolve. Fashion is about change. It's the same for when you are playing a character on set. You are
Hmm.
bringing that character to life. And not only that, but your style, the way you would dress when you are home, uh,
Hmm.
it's different when you're
Yeah.
on set because you're in character mode. You have to come as the producer and the director wants you to come. If they say, okay, let me tell you something, I want you to gain weight for this role. And who was it? And I'm pretty sure you know who I'm about to say. Christian Bale had to
Yeah.
gain weight for one of his roles, and he looked completely unrecognizable. Now, who was it? Jared Leto. Jared Leto also had to grow his facial hair for when he was playing Gucci,
Did he
the
have to?
fashion designer. He had to grow
Okay.
facial hair. A lot of actors say, okay, I got to change my appearance. I got to cut my hair for this. I got to
Hmm.
gain weight. I got to change my accent for this. You really have to embody that character. And that's what producers and directors are calling for you to do. So for me, fashion is the same thing. You get to tell a story each and every day, a different time period or era. King David says, hair is always changing. Yes, I'm a chameleon. I don't stay the same. I
That's
do not
awesome.
stay the same. So who knows what hair color or hair texture I'm going to have tomorrow.
You might
And
you might want to do that for film then. Have you ever thought of like trying to like do that for like film and TV and stuff?
Yes, I have. I
Uh,
have. I would love to be on set directing, helping behind the scenes. I don't want to be in front of the lens per
hmm
se. I mean, of course, you guys get to see me every day, Monday through Friday, but I would like to step behind the lens as well too. And I would also like to help and have some sort of assistant direction or creative director on set as far as fashion, as far as like Ruth Carter from the Black Panther, the way she styles and puts outfits together, the way she puts the costumes together. Absolutely gorgeous. That's what I would love to do. That is something else that I could see myself doing, and that would be a long term goal for me. Way down the line.
it's
Way
on the
down.
vision, right? It's on the
Yes.
vision.
It's on the vision board. Anything pertaining to fashion is on my vision board. And one of the words that I put on my vision board is vision. Vision, because I love to vision things. I love to plan things out. For every single interview that I've done, I have to plan a look out for, okay, I want to look like this today. I want to look like this.
Hmm
And I want it to come together. So I have a team working behind me. And my mom, she also, as I said, with her being a Libra, Libras are very opinionated. They will give you their opinion on something. And I've shown her some of the looks before I even put them on and asked her, what do you think? What do you think? Should I do this one or this one? And parents will give you their honest, open opinion, especially mothers. Mothers will. So I'm thankful to have her along with my beauty consultant and contributor, Melanie Nala, my Bridges, myself included. So it's a group of women. It's a group of women
hmm
behind me. And we always make sure that I come on looking amazing. So I'm thankful to have these group of women behind me, backing me, especially my mom, to incorporate her. I'm like, I can't forget her. She's the woman who brought me into this
Thank
world, helped me
you.
sort of develop my own personal style. But they will let you know. The Libras will let you know they're very opinionated on stuff. But my mother, per se, my gosh, girl, that skirt is pretty short. Like you love your shoulders out, and I love cold shoulder. So
Uh-huh.
whenever she sees something that looks like what I'm wearing today, she says, "You love the off the shoulder." I said, "I love to show off certain highlight certain parts of me,
Yeah,
like my skin. Like you get to see the skin, uh, my legs, all on a 5'7" girl. So it's about height and proportion for me. Virgos run the world. Yes, and I have a couple in my family. I have a couple in my family. I have a couple Libras in my family. It's a mixed. It's like
said
with
by
each
Virgo.
zodiac. Yes, with each zodiac sign, you don't know what you're going to get. Expect the unexpected. And with my mom, it's like even with her, certain things she's undecisive about it. But it's so much fun to have creative vision and
Mhm.
input, but also get creative vision and input from other people too. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, it really does. I agree with that.
So that was going to be my next question for you. Other
Mhm.
than being in front and behind the lens, what is next for Bryant in the future? Because we're always wanting to write more in our chapters of
Mhm.
things that we want to work on in our next phase of life or in our career. So for you, what is next for you in your chapter?
Um, I the biggest thing for me is just always to like try to live a cool ass life, and like that's kind of what I'm doing, you
Got
know.
you.
So yeah, I love what I'm doing now. I love doing the stunts. I love the acting. I've got my four daughters, so I love that. That's my personal side, you know, my babies. And just continue training, you know, and meet cool people like yourself, and just have good conversations, and grow as an artist, get better. You know, where can I get better? Oh, I can add this, I can do that. Cool, I'm gonna do a cool kick. I'm gonna do this this new thing. I'm gonna do a podcast interview. Just yeah, continue to grow. Just have a good time. You know, that's kind of that's you know I have a plan. My daughters get mad at me sometimes because like, Dad, you don't plan. I'm like, no, I plan, but I allow a little bit of deviation in that plan because you just never know what's going to happen. I might decide to go to that restaurant instead of this restaurant, but we're still going to a restaurant, you know? So yeah.
Now, has daughters seen you in action? Have they seen the films? Have they seen the projects?
Yeah, it's funny. Your daughters are so humbling, because they just don't care. They're just like they see me as dad, like they got me this. Hold on, I'll go show you. So I
And
guess
welcome
they
as you
pay,
coming in.
I do. I guess they do pay attention somehow, but that's what they got me for Father's Day.
Oh,
So like
Superman.
they pay attention, but they're so humbling because I'll show them something and they're just like, whatever. So it's great. It just keeps me grounded. It's because you realize a lot of this stuff is just it's just fun. It's fun to create. It's fun to do these things, and but it's not like, in my opinion, I don't think it defines us. I don't think it. I think how we treat people defines us, and
Yeah,
um, I think how we uh, our willingness to grow, I think, defines us, and I think um, yeah, just our family, our friends. I think that is important. So like, yeah, a lot of this stuff, it's fun, but like kids are humbling. They just that's our dad. He's not cool, but
and
I
that's
love it.
what it's like. It's so amazing to have that support behind you unconditionally. They see you as their dad, and nothing less. They're like, okay, wow, we see him in the film projects, but he's dad to us, and that is sweet of them.
Yeah.
And not only that, but when they see your passion, when they see that you are following what makes you
Yes.
happy, it makes them happy as well too. Have they picked up the acting bug?
No, and to be honest with you, I try not to push that shit on my kids. Like, I want them to find their things. So, like, if I see them show
Right,
interest,
carve out their own lane.
yeah, like find their lane. So when I see that, I try to encourage that. But I don't want to like, hey, you need to be in this. Like, I'm not a dad that try to live through their kids. I live for my kids. Like I'm not one to
Mm,
live. Like I'm not one to live. Try to like, oh, what they're do with their life, they should be a doctor. They no, find your thing that invigorates you and makes you feel whole and that you're passionate about. If my kids find that, I'm like, I'm good. I love that. Like that's what I want to see, And like you were saying about them seeing that, and like I think that's important. So them seeing me following my passions and working hard and like creating like different things, like to me that's important. Like that's huge. I love that. Yeah.
absolutely. And I love
Yeah.
what Diamond Hood Grown just says. Being creative gives you energy. And I
Yes.
wish more people would think like that. We have so much hate and bullying that takes people's innocence early. Yes, and when you are passionate, when you are honing into your craft, it is such a good feeling. It
Yeah.
takes away everything that bothers you. And I told my mom, me and my mom were having a conversation because she's like, okay, take a break, don't overwhelm yourself. And I
Hmm.
tell her, I do this for you. I do this for you. I do this to make you proud. I do this because this is what I love. And it's creative for me. It is being able to network, to hear people's stories. And not only that, but share bits and pieces of myself with the
Hmm.
world as well too. And she gets it now. And she's just like, I'm so proud of you. So she couldn't be happier. And it's amazing to have that support from your family, that village, that tribe. When they see you honing into your craft, then they will get out there and hone into your craft.
Yes.
Over the 4th, over the weekend, I went and I spent time with my family. And my cousin, she's out here participating in beauty pageants. She's a minister. Shout outs to my cousin. She's tapped into the beauty world, y'all. So you see, it runs in my family. It's not just me that loves the makeup and the hair and the fashion, but she just like, when we talked, when we was at the family cookout, she was like this. She said, I can't do it like you though, with the lashes and the contour and all of that. You love the drama. I do love the drama. So she knows me very, very well. She knows my personality very, very well.
Yeah.
And she's going to be coming on the show, y'all. So that was going to be the announcement that I was going to make, that yes, family's coming on the show. She is going to be
That's
coming. We haven't set a date yet per se, but she's just like, cuz let's do something together. I said, yes, girl, let's do it. So My cousin will be coming on the show, and we will be talking makeup, all things makeup. So it was so good to see her. But it's not just me that loves these things. It's my
Hmm.
family members. And no, I didn't rub off on her. I didn't even know she tapped into the beauty world. But she was like, let's do a live together so people can see. Yeah, you can see different, whatever, different beauty, different ways we do makeup or whatever. So we're gonna be going live. But that was the announcement that I wanted to make. I was holding it in. I was going to do it tomorrow, but I said, you know what? Let's just go ahead. It's Monday. Let everybody know. But
So,
I say
but
that to
man,
say this. Your craft, your passion inspires your family as well too. It inspires your family as well too. So my brother, just like you, he started off in music. He wanted to do music, but he said, you know what? I'm going to go into the, serve in the service. I'm going to go into the military. And
mhm.
that he did. So everybody's goals and their passions change in their careers. No, he's not into makeup. His wife
There
is
are
though.
no-
His wife is though. His wife and me, we talk, and she's always asking me, okay, like, what can I do for this and what can I do for that? So I guess I'm the beauty consultant of the family. They come
yeah.
to me and ask me questions. The hairstylist as well too. So my mom will come to me and ask me, what's this cream for? What's this and what's this and what's this and what you do with this thingy right here? And it was an eyelash curler, y'all. So
See,
yes.
I wouldn't
I,
get that. Do you got your cosmetology license or anything like that, or no?
Yes, I actually went to beauty school during high school. And what was so crazy is I went through state board. I went and I took the exam. I was nervous, Brian, because it was 23 of us. And as it got time to state board, people started winding out of the second phase of the class. Hi,
Uh,
Sacred. Yes, how are you, my love? Welcome. We are here with Brian Jalbert, and we were just talking about passions and goals and honing into your craft. I would have asked that same question. Did I go to beauty school? Yes, I did.
love it.
And it was so much fun. It started off with 23 of us. My instructor, she was a no nonsense instructor, but she also was so much fun. Like it would be me and the girls from my state in my school where I'm at in South Carolina, but it was different parts of South Carolina, like Blackfield, Hilda, uh, uh, Fairfax, Allendale. It was so many. Everybody came from different places, new
Mhm,
faces and then familiar faces.
mhm.
And oh, about the eyelash thingies, yes, a lot of people don't know, are not familiar with the eyelash curlers. I
Is
even
that
had
those
to
little
familiarize. Yes,
things?
you got it.
They're
When you
like
see a
around.
woman do
Yeah,
this, when you
yeah,
see a woman do this,
yeah.
uh, and then apply her mascara, you know what that is. That is a eyelash curler.
That's the,
I wish I had my brushes in front of me right now so I could show y'all. I'm looking at it right there. It's a eyelash curler. I have two of them. But I do it every morning. My mother didn't know what that was, what it was for. I bought a collection of makeup brushes,
mhm.
and it came with an eyelash curler. My mother didn't know what it was. I don't do nothing. I don't know nothing about makeup. Listen,
Either.
I know it all about the brushes, the contours, everything. And we didn't even really need to learn it in beauty school when I was going to beauty school. But we went to state board. I didn't do so well on the was the theory where you go online and you do it and you're like these cubicles. Some are
Hmm.
in there for to become electricians, some are in there to become barbers, and then you have
Wow. Yeah.
cosmetology. And you're
Mhm.
divided up in these cubicles. I remember crying all the way back the first time because I didn't do so well. I failed the first time for the theory part. Practical hands on, where you're like in this big, huge ballroom, you're at a table but you're not with your classmates. You could be one at a table further away from you, but it's other girls from other schools
Mhm.
representing cosmetology. And we all had to work on our mannequin, what our beauty school teacher taught us. And I can remember being nerve wracking, but I passed it being a nervous wreck, but I passed it with flying colors. The first part, which was the practical. Okay, the
Uh-huh.
theory. I remember crying all the way back, which is the online portion where they ask you the questions. I went
Mhm.
back a second time and I studied all the way there. And Brian, when I tell you, I came out because they take a picture of you like you're going in so that they recognize you and everything.
Mhm.
You have to sit right here, and there's like this little webcam, and the moderator who's or monitor who's watching right here through this glass room as you're
Mhm.
in here in the cubicles. You come out and you get your picture taken, and it will tell you if you passed or failed.
Mm.
Went back a second time, and guess what happened, y'all? When she said you passed, I tell y'all, I wanted to scream so loud, and I asked her, I said, "Oh, can I scream?" She said, "No, baby, you can't." So I just remember hugging her, and I had to hold it in until I got
Yeah.
outside. Getting down the stairs, I almost went down and fell on the second flight of stairs. And I got outside and screamed so loud and hugged my beauty school teacher. And she was just like, "I know you could do it. I know you could do it." So I have the paperwork. So I'll bring it on the show to show y'all tomorrow
I love
what it looked like. And I remember wearing a little what I wore too. I wore
it.
a dress shirt and a bow tie. And my God, I remember it just like it was yesterday. And then my father took me for pizza, and I remember getting my Sally's card, my Sally's beauty supply card, because you
Mhm.
go from the blue card, which is like the student card, the beginner card, to like the red card, which is like the pro preferred card. If you go to Sally's beauty supply, any ladies in here, you know what it's like in Sally's beauty. You see the cards right up there at the register, and I got the red one. I still have it till this day, so I'm like, okay, and I get discounts on my hair products too. All right, I love this, but I also have to take my classes, my continuing ed classes, and I love my instructor. So that's
Mhm.
how I stay up on top of everything hair, everything fashion. So every time you see me when I come on here, it's a different look. It's always a new trend, like the lobster or the claw cut with the bangs. I remember doing that. So
Mhm.
it's always about changing up your look. And that's something that I've always loved to do. One of my friends decorates cakes. Oh, home ed, home ec. I remember taking that in class in high school as well too. You had to cook in there, and they wanted to teach you basic life skills. So these are things that help you in your career throughout the way as well too. Now I'm not in a shop or anything, but my mother is my test dummy. So
Oh, is that?
if
Oh, is
not
that?
my mom,
Yeah.
than myself. I won't try it on nobody else unless I try it on myself first. And I remember getting out of beauty school and buying a bunch of hair products. I mean, powder lighteners and hair colors, because that's one thing about me. I always changed my hair color. And my girlfriend, she can vouch for that. She's like, one day your hair was blonde, and the next day you had a streak here. But as I've graduated from high school, I said, okay, the look has to change. It's got to be something different. It's got to be a new version of me. So
Mhm.
I started experimenting with colors that were bolder. I always wanted to stay within the blonde family, which is like the blonde I'm wearing today, and
Mhm.
black. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want red. I hated red for some reason. But
Yeah.
if you go back and you rewind and watch some of the seasons from last month,
Mhm.
then you will see me with red hair.
Okay.
And it was such a shocker for people. But yes, who knows what's going to be in the air tomorrow? What I look like tomorrow? Who knows? But that's the beauty of it. But I'm happy. And I don't have to renew until another 2 years. So it was
We got
such a great class. Such a great
okay.
class. And I'm reading you guys' comments. This is really dope. I've just really started leaning into investing in myself and doing more pop ups. I'm not sure. Brick and mortar is what I want to do, but I'm proud of him and I hope he flourishes. Mm.
It's, it's awesome.
I have an amazing stylist that could work with you if you'd like me to DM him. I've had degrees in political science, and history. And after graduating, I realized that although I love politics, it wasn't there my passion. So decorating cakes ever since. And this is what we're talking about, honing into your craft. Brian, what advice would you give to everybody? They've chimed in the conversation, they've tapped in, and they're
Uh,
all talking about honing into their craft.
I mean, to be real with you, it's I think it's just starting. Like it's
Mm,
just whatever that may be. If it's doing hair, if it's makeup, find out what those beginning steps are or where you want to end up, right? Where you want to end up as an artist, whatever that may be. If you want to be a big time musician, okay, well, what do you want to be? You want to be a singer? You want to be a guitarist? Like, where do you want to go? picking that and then go back from it. All right, well, I got to learn guitar, or I got to start taking singing lessons, or I got to start writing some music because I can sing already. Find some beats, put it together, and then put it out on the internet like we're doing, creating content. So yeah, I think it's just starting. And I know it sounds simple, and I know it's so hard sometimes. It's like, oh, how do I do it? And I think it's not overthinking it and not putting blocks up. If it's like, oh, I need money, or I need this or that, and I think a lot of people do that. It's like, oh, what do I need? And I think it's more like, okay, well, what can I do now? Okay, well, I can write today, or I can send an email. Like you reached out to me to do the interview, and you just, hey,
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah. And I remember you sending it, and I was like, holy moly! I'm like, that's like a long time from now. I said, you're gonna have to remind me. I'm like, you're booked up. But you just asked me, so I think that's key. Just to ask and just do.
Absolutely. And speaking of beauty school, look what I found. I found my mannequin from beauty school. So, yes.
That's that's
But
awesome.
she's going to need some highlights. I'm going to put some highlights in her hair.
I
I
love it.
know how
It's
to streak, I know how to do all of that. But I found her. And a bunch of memorabilia from beauty school. I have my books and everything. Like we had My Lady and then Pivot Point. So I still have those books. It's still great to have those books. And my beauty school instructor, she wanted me to go read these books as well to all of us. She wanted us all to read on it to help us in our career. So that's how
Mhm.
I stay up on top of everything as it pertains to business management, as it pertains to everything. I think we are entering an age where we've been our own. Oh Lord, have mercy. What is that? My mannequin from beauty school.
Worst
I found
critic.
it.
Time to put our stuff out in the world and be, yeah, unapologetic about it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you never know what's going to resonate, or what's going to go viral, or what's going to help create something where you go, oh crap, man, I'm being seen for this. Like, what do I do next?
And it's time to manifest. If you've got a vision or a goal,
Yeah.
go for it. Go for it. Now's the time. Put it out there so that people can see it. It won't work unless you try. And that is one of the things my girlfriend, shout out to my girlfriend Felicia, my friend, my sis, we went to school together.
Hmm.
Um, I was talking with her over the weekend and she was saying, girl, I started on my new vision board. I started on my journal writing down goals. Write down goals. Write down things you want to achieve or you want to uh, complete in the year of 2025. 2025 is the year of getting things done. And I said this year that I was going to do 800 interviews. I met my goal of 800 interviews, and I still have it pinned up there. If you guys remember when I hit that milestone, the day that I
Really?
hit the milestone, and everything. So it's all about setting a goal for yourself and working to get your goals complete. That's what it's about.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I think, like you said, you were talking about earlier how you got like a vision board.
Yep,
And yeah, I like that's great. The secret, I love the secret. So like, yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. It's all about putting that stuff out there into the universe because if you don't, nobody else will, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, Spicy. Hi, everyone. Welcome. If you're just coming in, we are here with Brian Jalbert. Before we wrap, this was such a great conversation, Brian. As I think Brian's about to head out, I can't keep him, Fashion Dolls.
Now you're
But
good. If you want to talk more, it's up to you. But yeah, I'm just kind of like I got remember manifesting right now. I got a script right here. I'm going to actually do a table read for a film. So otherwise, I stay in chat all day with y'all because y'all are positive. I love it. I love the vibe and stuff. But yeah, I agree with that 100%. Manifesting and just like having a vision and creating. It's like because nobody else is gonna do it like for us.
absolutely, absolutely. And before we go, words of wisdom and encouragement that you would give to everybody. This was such a refreshing conversation. And everybody has a homework assignment in here
Uh,
today. I want each and every one of you to have something to work on, something productive. Spend at least 10 minutes of the day working
I
on
love that.
something productive. I know that once I'm done with this interview and the clips are edited, you see the highlight and it's uploaded to my channel. By the way, make sure you guys please go and subscribe to Tit and Tat This for That's channel. And look at there, they're saying break a leg, Brian. You got
I
this.
love it. Y'all
Uh,
are awesome.
it's yours already, Brian. Congrats. And that is from Sacred Astronaut. What advice would you give to each and every person in here watching this interview? Because you saw how they chimed in the conversation quick, Brian, and they
Uh-huh.
started listing their goals. Y'all have never said this with me before until today. So, what advice would you give them? What gems?
So as far as gems go, I would actually say you started off with the right thing. I would
Ooh,
create a vision board. And one of the things that I do, and hope maybe this helps, maybe this doesn't, is I like to, now I have a beach near me, so I like to go on the visualize things that I want in my life. That what life do I want for my kids or for me
mm,
and people around me, and do little things like that. What speaks to you? Maybe it's the woods. Maybe you're out in the woods and you can ground out that way. But you said in the beginning, just create a vision board. Create that vision for yourself of where you want your life to be, and then just start executing towards that. Putting the little steps in place. Like I'm going to do a table read for this project, but what led to that was me going to acting class for a year and a half straight, and me taking stunt classes for a year and a half. When I made the decision to go, hey, I'm going to go full board on this acting and stunts thing, I didn't really know what was going to happen or how I was going to do it, but I just started doing it, and I started taking those classes and putting the work in, and those little steps every day, those little things that we do every day, that I think in the long run, when it's a year down the road, 2 years down the road, you look back and you go, oh crap, I did a lot. I didn't realize how far I got. So that's what I would say, if that helps anybody, out there.
I love making vision boards. You should do a live making some. Who knows? Sacred,
I
I
love
just might. I have three, and what I'll do is I'll bring that tomorrow along with where I passed the test. You guys can see the photo that I took where I had on the bow tie. I had a low. I was in my Grace Jones era where I had the low mohawk cut,
Did
and
you
I
really?
had blonde going on. So you have to see it. I'll bring it tomorrow. But also my vision board that I completed for the year, where it's like every day I do a mental checklist of everything that I've completed and
Uh-huh.
highlighted off my list. We're going to work on that tomorrow, so I bring that so you guys can see it as well too. But I want to close the show out with this quote from Arthur C.S. Lewis, and he says, "You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. It's never too late. It's never too late to follow your dreams, to follow your passions, to follow what sets your soul on fire." And for me, my dream and vision that sets my soul on fire is doing this platform, being here with you guys who give me energy and life every single day I come on, speaking truth to power. Not just that, but encouraging people, letting people share their stories and tell their stories. I get hyped whenever someone mentions Grace. Grace Jones, she's your idol. I love her. And I have a picture of her on my wall near my closet. So if you guys see the OOTD of the day, the outfit of the day, you will see that picture. But I want you guys all to be intentional about doing something. Don't let your talent or your juice go to waste. Put it to use. Don't sit on it. Like I said, with my girlfriend, she texted me over the weekend. She just like, "Girl, I've created a notebook and I'm writing down my goals and everything." Uh, I said, "Go ahead, go for it." And that will be my homework assignment for each and every one of you. Write down something that you want to work on and manifest for the day. If dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't let your dreams die. You've got so much aspiration. You've got everything you need right then and there. It is you, it is your vision. You are the author and editor of your story. And I want each and every one of you to remember that. Remember that. And that's the final thought I will close the show out with. So,
I love it.
Ryan, an amazing conversation, and I would love to bring you back again. I had a fabulous time.
Anytime.
Where
It's
can
been amazing,
everyone
yeah.
where can everyone follow you?
They can just follow me on my Instagram here, Brian Jalbert. If you guys want to reach out to me in any way, that feel free to. If they check me out on IMDb too, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. My email's there, stuff like that. So, yeah, they can reach out anyway. Just look up Brian Jalbert. There's not many Jalberts out there, Jalbert, so you'll find me pretty easy. And thank you for having me on, Stevie. I really appreciate it, and it's been a really good, positive conversation. I love that. So thank you.
You too. It was so great. And we're going to bring you back. I'm going to give you details because I would love to bring you back again.
Yep.
And Fashion Dolls, join me tomorrow. We have Devontae Brown. Make sure you guys tune in. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and be safe, Miss Stevie. I sure will. And again, be intentional about doing something. I want you all to work on a vision board. Do something creative. Use your creativity and your talent and don't let it go to waste. Please use it. I love you all. Till next time, Fashion Dolls. See you tomorrow.